Coming up on the Steeple Snow Show, an exciting week in snow sports is crystallizing. She's got all the right moves and keeps coming back for more. Mikaela Shiffrin's greatest alpine ski racing hits are forever rising to the top. The most dominant cross-country ski racer in U.S. history, male or female, has done it again, proving all that glitters is indeed gold and that you can smile while you sparkle. American free ski legend Alex Hall is soaring, twisting, and spiraling into the big air stratosphere. He has flipped the switch, and the landing is all guts and glory. Everybody, welcome back to the Steeple Snow Show. I'm Carolyn Manno. Thanks for joining us as we bring you the latest and greatest in skiing and snowboarding from around the world. With that in mind, where is the U.S. ski and snowboard team? Turns out on some of the most scenic and legendary slopes across the world. We will head to Falun in central Sweden for men's and women's cross country. We're pulling out all the free skiing tricks in dynamic Tignes, France. Next to Chiese in Valmenco, Italy, and all the best moguls action. And then we are on a roll with snowboard cross in Montafon, Austria. Last but not least, men's and women's alpine getting technical in Saalbach, Austria. Three-time Olympian Mikaela Shiffrin has said that every season brings something that she can learn, and there was certainly plenty to take away from this year as she rehabbed from injury and then found her way back to the starting gate. We caught up with an invigorated Shiffrin in Saalbach.
Mikaela Shiffrin, center stage here today. Her last race of this season. She missed 6 weeks because of an injury suffered in January, so she's closing it out with the slalom here today. And now the final run in another incredible season for Mikaela Shiffrin. She has won 6 times in slalom this season, but only twice has she come from behind after the first run. That's what she's facing here now in Saalbach, trailing by just over 1/10 of a second.
This is an uncomfortable situation even for the greatest skier of all time, and now she's starting to put it together.
Shiffrin soaring through the final gates, and Mikaela is on top in Saalbach. And Mikaela Shiffrin, it is 60 career slalom wins and 97 World Cup wins across all disciplines. 8 globes in slalom for Shiffrin and no signs of slowing down.
It's been a wild season, so I'm really happy to be sitting here and happy for the final race of the season to go so well. And these days just make me feel so invigorated, like so alive, and that's what I'm focusing on, like trying to soak that all in. And I never really focused too much on the numbers, but now I feel okay with them. Like, it's not pressure, it's not anything, it's just an honor.
It's been a wild season indeed, a rewarding one too, though. A record extending 97th career World Cup win and a record equaling 8th slalom Crystal Globe for the indomitable Mikaela Shiffrin. She is one of a kind. She's going to join us here on the show shortly as we turn our attention now to another alpine skier leveling up on the men's side, Swiss sensation Marco Odermatt. One of the few skiers teed up to break Odermatt's 12 consecutive World Cup giant slalom wins was his teammate Loic Meillard, who was chasing his first GS World Cup victory this season at finals. Meillard, third in the GS standings, poised to raise a challenge, and he did just that. Odermatt, who punctuated his season with enviable confidence, had already clinched the overall title, perfection in his sights. The 26-year-old lost his balance and skied out. Meillard's acceptance of his win somewhat subdued, the culmination of a measured rise to the top for him and the work that he's put in every day in training paying off at the end of the season. Still, it was Odermatt who earned the giant slalom Crystal Globe by 432 points, the 3rd consecutive GS title for the 26-year-old reigning Olympic giant slalom gold medalist. When you're advised by your coaching staff to full send in your GS final, take Paula Molson's lead and just do it. Landing 13th after her first run, the Prior Lake, Minnesota native seeming to opt for a nothing-to-lose attitude, seeing a fast and clean second run. She said it was either going out or finding the finish, and she's happy that it was the latter. Meantime, Italy's Federica Brignoni, known as La Tigre, with her signature tiger helmet, roaring into finals, ready to add to her impressive 11 career World Cup GS wins. The 4-time Olympian would ultimately prevail to become the winningest Italian alpine skier of all time on the World Cup. Brignoni finished an amazing season, second in the overall and GS standings, and said the only thing she could have done differently was maybe clean up some mistakes from January, adding she was trying to push too hard when Lara was skiing better. But overall, Brignoni says no regrets. Lara being Lara Gutberami of Switzerland, who was well ahead in the GS standings coming into the race and played it safe, taking 10th, enough to clinch the giant slalom title, though, and to sweeten it all, she secured the World Cup overall for the second time in her career. As we move to our Fast Facts powered by iFit, welcome to the world of intelligent fitness. The 32-year-old Gutberami surpassing fellow Swiss skier Vreni Schneider, who was the oldest woman to win the overall when she did so at the ripe old age of 30 back in 1995. But with the GS Globe, she also positioned herself to join Mikaela Shiffrin, Lindsey Vonn, and Tina Maze as the only women in history to grab 4 Crystal Globes in a single season. We have got the greatest alpine ski racer of all time on deck at the Stifel Snow Show. The one, the only Mikaela Shiffrin will join us after the break.
The magnificent Mikaela, World Cup win 92.
Putting on another masterclass right now.
93 and counting. 94.
95. 96.
97 World Cup wins.
Absolutely stunning.
We are beyond pleased to have Mikaela Shiffrin joining us now, who has had an eventful season, to say the least. Mikaela, thank you so much for taking the time to join us. I know you are so busy, as always. Let's start with your return to slalom at RA after working through serious injury. In true fashion, you walk away with the title. What was going through your mind in that moment holding the trophy?
Oh, goodness. Yeah, it's a little bit of a surreal moment. I think I've been trying to figure out how to answer this question exactly this whole season. And I think one of the things I feel the most in moments like that, especially when they are so surreal and after 6 weeks of recovery and rehab and getting back to racing, and that weekend was actually in question still if I'd be ready. And then you get to the moment where you cross the finish line of the second run and it's like, how the heck did this actually happen? In those moments, I feel really alive and I feel really in awe of the whole experience and everything that skiing and ski racing has given me over the course of my career, my whole life. It's been quite a gift. And I feel like that moment really felt like a gift.
You've got your boyfriend, Alexander Kilde from Norway, who is also seriously injured this season. How is he doing? And are you guys able to support one another to cope with something that people like us, mere mortals, really don't have a full grasp of?
One of the things about Alex's injury that has been the scariest thing is how difficult normal life has been. And he's improved a lot now, but he has a long way to go. His shoulder was completely destroyed and his leg was really completely destroyed. So he has a ways to go, but now he's able to walk. He couldn't do the most basic things that we all take for granted. So it's been a process and it's really challenging. He's been incredibly inspiring for me these past weeks, seeing how positive he is and how supportive he is of me and my own return to competition, despite the situation that he's facing. It's incredible.
We wish him the best as he continues to navigate that. And I'm sure there have been moments for you both that you've been tested in terms of resiliency, but have also had these really rewarding moments. And, not to harp too much on all the injury stuff, but I am curious. We saw on social that you returned to the scene of the crash for you at Cortina with Tina Maze, which is kind of another show of support in this whole thing. What can you tell us about that visit, the decision to do it, or was it especially meaningful for you to be there?
Yeah, it was. First of all, I don't get to free ski for fun very often. This was a rare circumstance during the World Cup finals week where I am supposed to stay for the final awards of the season, but I can't really do too much this week. And I wanted to get some free skiing on my GS skis anyway. So we saw this opportunity to go to Cortina, which and kind of take a little bit of a, maybe you could call it a ski vacation, but also a little bit of an Olympic recon mission, trying to just get our bearings for what the games are going to look like in a couple years and try to get our mindsets in the right place, think about logistically what we need to plan out moving forward for these next couple seasons leading into the Olympics. And of course, it is where I crashed. So being able to free ski right through the Tofana chute and just lap up on that trail over and over and over again and really send myself down the pitch and right by the spot where I crashed, I think it's healing in a way, but I also think it's incredible how your love for something can outweigh your fear of it. And I am not an athlete who has no fear. I experience fear all the time, almost every single race. I'm afraid of crashing. I'm afraid of pain. I certainly don't want to experience that more than I have to, but I am also willing to accept that risk because of my love for ski racing. So that was a really interesting couple days to just free ski around and really soak up the passion for just skiing and enjoy the sunshine. It was 2 beautiful days and really amazing to ski with Tina Maze, who, I mean, she's been my idol, she's been my competitor, and now she's in many ways a form of a mentor. So it's incredible.
What are you most looking forward to as you hit the off season, I guess, if there is one?
Yeah, it's an off competition season. It's not much of an off season from the perspective of, vacation time or rest, but I pretty much go straight back into the gym. I already started my first mesocycle of conditioning training this week. So we can call it the prep season, I guess is a more apt term, but I am looking forward to getting to see the sun a little bit more. That's maybe number one. And see my family and go home and sleep in my own bed. That's also nice.
We wish you the best in your prep season. We're thrilled to have you here. We are so happy to see you doing well, and thank you for taking the time to be with us today, Michaela. We look forward to following your progression as we head towards 2026.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And a massive congratulations to our own Cara Banks and husband Ollie on the birth of daughter Savannah Shirley Sarah Banks. Just adorable, according to mom, big brother, and sister. Loving the new addition so far to their family. And can we just say, we're loving the 3S monogram, perhaps a little homage to the Steeple Snow Show. Maybe. Either way, just beautiful. We'll be back. Coming into the 20-kilometer mass start, the final race of the season in Falun, Sweden, 23:24 had been historic for the most decorated American cross-country skier in history. And with only a 75-point lead for the overall globe over Swede Lynn Svan, Diggins focused on what she could control, and she laid it all out on the course. Here's how Chad Salmela and Keegan Randall called it.
Diggins coming up to the 18.9-kilometer mark. Will be 1.1K to go from this mark, and they're all out. Diggins is pushing for the line. Veng seems to be able to answer, as does Calvo. Diggins trying to take it from the front, as she has so often. A pure guts race for a pure guts season.
And Jessie puts in a couple of quick jump skates over the top and push. That's essential into this, because remember, there's so much drafting effect coming off this downhill. She needed to give herself just that little bit of infusion of pace, and that is one of the things she does so well, is she'll push harder over the top.
Jessie Diggins punching the air, but that draft effect happened. Down to the finish line they come on the final day. Diggins leads. Diggins pulling away ever so slightly from Veng. Veng does not have an answer, nor does Calva. Jessie Diggins will put a stamp on the season with a victory in Falun, Sweden. Diggins will be World Cup champion and winner of the final day in Falun. Veng second, Calvo third.
Digging in with a smile throughout, pushing through the pain cave, all netting Diggins her 6th win of this season, her 2nd overall Crystal Globe, and her 2nd Distance Globe.
I don't know how I'm going to fly these home.
Ever reflective and introspective, the 3-time Olympian from Afton, Minnesota, shared about goals and more. Let's have a listen.
It was really emotional. I was out putting glitter on everyone, and as you can see, they had a little surprise for me too. It's been a hard year, and today my only goal was to have the most fun, and I really did. I was smiling at the coaches out there, and I just wanted to finish with nothing left, and that was really painful, but it was so fun to go out there and just try to ski hard and ski well and ski a brave race. And that's all I wanted to do. So it feels really cool to end the season as one big team. I'm really happy, and now I'm ready to go home.
Big, very big at Chiesa in Valmalenco, Italy, especially when you have two powerhouse athletes side by side to wrap an exciting season in dual moguls. Two-time Olympian Jalen Koff showing phenomenal consistency this season. The American adding her 7th dual moguls podium in second, alongside the formidable Jakara Anthony, who continues to stun with unmatched dominance. The Australian freestyle skier taking her 14th World Cup moguls win of the season. In the big final, the U.S. women leading the charge and dominating the top 10. They have put on a show all season, so fitting that the Stifel U.S. freestyle ski team claimed the Nations Cup as the top moguls team in the world. Coach Brian Wilson noting that while he feels his group is the best team in the world athletically, what he loves most is that they are great human beings. Now to Montafon, Austria, and an exciting day for 5-time Olympian Lindsey Jacobellis, the most decorated female snowboard cross athlete of all time. Out of the gate, the reigning Olympic gold medalist looking for her first individual top 3 finish of the season, and she would achieve that very thing, pushing right to the end to edge out her competitors. Ultimately, the 38-year-old took second, her 60th World Cup podium. Cue the bubbly and a great photo moment looking back on Jacobellis' first snowboard cross podium 2 decades ago. Amazing. When we come back, he's a fan favorite, and for good reason. Free skier extraordinaire with the vertical height, Tom Wallisch, joining us in studio. Stay with us for Tom. I'm so excited about our next guest in studio because Tom Wallisch is easily one of the most electrifying slopestyle skiers in the game, also one of the nicest. That's just me speaking, and he joins us now to break down what we have been seeing so far this season. Let's start with what has been going on this World Cup. An incredible season. You take it from the top. You've got Alex Hall, just earned a Big Air Crystal Globe off a win in France, reigning Olympic gold medalist. Can you break down the significance of this switch left tail butter 1800 for us?
Oh, that's exactly right. One of the most technical tricks and so stylish and creative. I mean, Alex Hall is just one of my favorites all time to watch. This trick is so unique, and that's how he's been dominating the Big Air scene. Olympic gold medalist from 2022. Big Air, he's kind of taken a step back from the massive rotations and gone for more things like this right side 900 where he pretzels his body. So instead of it being this gigantic number and degrees of rotations, it's a slower spin, but it's a body twist, sort of a contortion that's so unique that he does that scores really well because of the creativity. And here's that switch tail butter. You love that one. It's so difficult for me to describe how hard this takeoff is. He's going 35, 40 miles an hour, and he pre-spins, loads the tails of his skis, then somehow is managing to do that switch 1800 out of it. That's, I mean, 5 full rotations. He's got that opposite Japan grab. It's just him having fun. That doesn't look fun to me. That looks extremely scary.
Even to you?
Even to me. But he makes it look so easy and just so impressive to see him walking away with the Crystal Globe there.
And then you have a guy like Alex Ferreira, the first U.S. male freestyle skier to have an undefeated World Cup campaign, which is just mind-blowing, like you said, especially in something that's on the Olympic program. And when people are talking about what he's been able to do, what is the response from insiders about this accomplishment?
I mean, everybody in the sport, everybody that competes, all the people at these events are just awed. It is impressive to do his run, let alone, and to walk away with 1 or 2 wins, but to be so consistent, varying half pipes, different weather conditions, different competitors in each event. This is the most dominating performance of any free skier I think I've ever seen. I mean, all those results to never do anything but top of the podium. I mean, this is Shaun White caliber. This is like the best athletes in action sports of all time caliber.
We talk a lot about moguls on this show. Olivia Giacchio is so incredible. She threw a cork 1080, landed it perfectly to win at Deer Valley. All these really tough tricks. I mean, it's the first time in competition that a woman has won with that trick. It's such a gutsy move, isn't it?
So impressive. And I was fortunate enough to be in Park City at this event at Deer Valley. It's in my home state, and it was so incredible to see the hometown crowd support for this trick. And I love this because this is a free ski trick. This is a massive rotation, and she's doing it in the middle of that run. 3 full rotations, corked out. I mean, you lose sight of the landing twice on this one, and for her to be able to come around with such composition to just stomp this landing and then continue through the rest of that moguls run is so impressive. And that whole women's freestyle team is
incredible.
Top notch.
We can't let you go without asking you about Lucas Foster, who I know is a snowboarder. Okay, so we're crossing over, but the first ever alley-oop double McTwist 1260 in men's half-pipe competition.
Insane. I mean, this trick, I can't describe it anything but death-defying, and it's because he gets so upside down and so lost to the ground. I know Todd Richards was calling this one live, going nuts, and I was watching this as well, and just, you see on this trick, he grabs the board and then gets absolutely arched back, losing sight of the half-pipe deck, the wall, looking up at the sky, and it's the pop of this trick that makes it so difficult to land, because if you get the pop wrong, you can see he barely gets into the coping of that half pipe. If you pop too much or too little, it could mean the end of your day, if not your season. So that's why that's one of the most high-level, impressive tricks to watch in half-pipe snowboarding.
Margin for error is just like this.
Minute.
This.
Minute.
So incredible. Thank you so much for joining us on the show. We love having you. You can break it down unlike anybody else. It's just such a pleasure to have you. All right, make sure you set those Alpine alarm clocks, because live on Peacock tomorrow, grab a little bit of morning coffee, men's downhill finals from Saalbach, Austria. Don't miss our final episode of the Stiefel Snow Show. That's next Saturday, March 30th at 2:30 p.m. Eastern, right here on CNBC. It has been such a pleasure being here with you today and being with you today on the Stiefel Snow Show. We're so glad you joined us. I'm Carolyn Mano saying so long for now. We'll see you next time.